I started with WFP in 93, early 93, as a flight coordinator for an operation in Rwanda. I was hired because I was speaking French speaker, and we needed a French speaker. And then moved to Liberia, to Sudan, to Kenya for Sudan, and was called to take over aviation, which was not a unit at that time, but just starting section in early 95, if I recall correctly. I'm getting old. And remained in charge of aviation up to 98, prior to going back to Sudan and being responsible for logistics. And again, I was in charge of then staffing coordinator for WFP logistics from 2001 to 2005, I think, and then back to aviation since 2006. But aviation has always been part of my activities, but aviation as part of logistics, it has always been. I think we logisticians, we have to be involved in everything. We have to know everything, to know what are the programs, to know what is the political context, to be informed, to speak, to be curious, because you will not succeed in anything if you don't know what is happening. So try to be informed and not to be squared in your own area of activity or of expertise. You need to know everything. And if you are in a country office and you are a logistician and a project is being designed, you have to be here and active in the preparation of the program from the first day. Not waiting for the others to tell you we would like 10,000 tons of food here and there, and then you discover the plan is totally unrealistic. You have to tell, that's what we can do. Let's see how we may work around, or you want me to do that, let me explore the possibilities with my colleagues and so on, and then we will work better. We should not be in the humanitarian assistance without a goal that remains the same, to assist people. So to assist people, it's not only to perfectly manage a warehouse or to perfectly use the trucks or have a splendid contract for the aircraft. To be part of the game is to know why we are in an operation and what is our role, what brick we may bring to the wall, and how we can do that with the others. And that's where I started to be involved with the humanitarian work, doing charter for the MSF, MDM, all those NGOs and everywhere, and where it was extremely interesting because we were a group of people from the commercial sector, but with the same spirit. Then they founded Atlas Logistics in France, for example. The group of people I'm talking about, with a will to do something. And then the company collapsed. I was jobless, so when I was called by WFP, I had sent my CV. I had a few attempts. I was called, it's urgent, you should go tomorrow. Christmas Day in 92, I remember, you have to go tomorrow to Wajir in Kenya. And then I have not heard from WFP for 3 or 4 weeks. Then it was another thing, and then in March 93 I was called for Rwanda, and I went to Rwanda. And since then I've almost consistently been with WFP. Was a lucky man because there was in 94 a decision that was taken not to have any more consultants and to give only fixed terms. I had literally my suitcase in my hand going to Lockheed Chokyu on a Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock when I was called by my supervisor or hirer, Ron Sibanda at that time, who told me, no, stop, wait half an hour. I will send you a fax with a fixed term contract. I did not know what it was. I had no idea of what was P3, P4, P1, I
17?
probably signed the wrong contract at that time. But that's when how I started as a fixed term with WFP, in fact. And then I almost never left.
Times have changed since then. For the better?
Yes and no. I think probably what I recall and the way I managed to learn everything is that I think as aviation, in my first year in aviation, with all the crises existing around the world, as a P3, I was involved in all the big decisions. I remember some task force in Angola and Sudan, where if you were able to deliver, you were recognized as a valid interlocutor and given the responsibility. Better not to fail, but if operations were successful, you build a trust and people know you. And working with emergencies in aviation, you are involved in crises all over the world, so you deal with many interlocutors. You don't know them, but one day you meet them, and it's as if you had been friends for years when you meet them after you have exchanged. I think we try to specialize too much things, to look at ourselves too much, and we publish a lot of studies, we do a lot of work plans, we spend half of our time doing stuff when we are not. The way I looked at my work, you come to a country office, you are brand new, you don't know WFP, you don't know what are the acronyms and so on, but then you sit and you tell, what can I do? And you don't look at your TORs and telling, no, I see this one, this is not working, but no, it's not in my TORs, I will not do. If you are curious, if you want things to move, you tell them, no one is doing it, let me take care of that. So you just, in WFP, what is wonderful, and I found the same as in the private sector when I started 20 years before, is that if you take the responsibility, people will let you take the responsibility. If you see that you may bring something and you don't make mistake, or you are convincing enough, you will be able to do that. So there is room for, and there is still room. I have, as a staffing coordinator, I've been following quite a few careers of logistics officer, mainly, who are now everywhere, not only in logistics, but it's wonderful to see how people whom you tell, you may do that, you are able to do that, so why don't you, or people come to you, Pierre, there is this, we could do that way, and so why do you wait for me to tell you go ahead? Go ahead and do it. And you have wonderful colleagues who are now P5 D1s. They started as JPOs or consultants, and because they were curious, because they took this attitude of seeing problems to be solved, asking for advice. And it was a bit of a joke to tell them, go ahead, you should have known to do it, because they were not sure they could do it, they were authorized to do it, or so on. So you force people to do, you tell, I cover you, I will, if something happens, I'll be there. And I think I've always been around the colleagues in logistics, supporting. But it's wonderful to see how people may give much more than we expect normally.